Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Saturday morning practice. We'll be spending the next hour and a half together and alternating from week to week, different regimen exercise. And then also at 9 o'clock, when we're supposed to finish our exercise class, then I'll do a Dharma talk today, okay? Just like what we've been doing for the last 2 months. All right, so today the exercise at the very end is a Qigong exercise called the Yi Jing Jing, and we pair it with some exercise on our fingers all the way to our toes, from the top of the head to all the way to the bottom of our feet. So before we do anything, let's bring our mind back to our body. Mind, body together, that's the meaning of the word yoga, or traditionally it's called yuja. Let's start with the very bottom of our spine, focus on that. And let's walk up the spine slowly towards the top of the head, stretch our spine, one joint at a time, all the way to the top. Let's lift up a shoulder as if you're bringing the shoulder to your ears. Let's open that now as if you're squeezing a tennis ball in the back. Let's lean back the upper torso, relax the shoulder, relax the spine, okay? So this is the posture that we always want to keep. Now we're going to start with the fingertips. And so focus on the left hand, focus on the tip of each of the fingers. Let's bring our thumb, the right thumb. And some of you might find it sometimes we have arthritis. It's actually difficult to use the finger. So it would help if you take the other four fingers and just put it behind the finger and then just gently use the thumb to massage the tip of your finger, one finger at a time. Now here we talk a lot about qi. Qi has different meaning in Chinese. Actually, single characters have no unique meanings in Chinese. You have to pair it with something else. And now we're going to do the other hand. Take the four fingers on the left, put that behind each of the fingers, use the thumb, and just kind of massage the tip. And in this case, qi can mean life energy. I like that translation. But we often think that, life energy means the energy that we have in our body after we consume food. It's actually not that. It's actually the energy that is in the universe that happens to pass through your body. Now we're going to start working on the joints now. Back to the left hand. Again, taking four fingers, lay that behind the fingers, and just kind of gently massage the joints, starting in the front, the left, back to the front, to the right, one joint at a time, one finger at a time. So when we talk about these life energy that are traveling through a body from the universe, it needs to go back to the original understanding of that from the North Indians, from the yogis. The yogis think that there's a very complicated system of nadis, which are their name for the life energy. They think that there are like 72,000 of them. It's very complicated. And when that thinking went to China, because of their understanding of astrology, their understanding of the solar pattern and all that, they start to abstract it a little differently. So now let's take the left thumb and work on the right hand, one joint at a time, one finger at a time. So the Chinese think of the qi, the life energy, in this simple 12, what's called the meridians, according to the sun, each one of them active for 2 hours. Now, when they say active, that doesn't mean that the other ones are dormant. It's like the wave. Imagine that you have a wave, and this is where is the crust of the wave, right? So every 2 hours, one of those meridians are active, but the rest are still flowing. It's actually a continuous loop of energy that flows into in your body. All right. Okay. So now we're done with the joints. Let's flip the hand. Work on the back of the hand now, starting at the fingertips. But this time, we're going to locate the two corners of the fingernails. We're going to take the thumb and the index finger and just kind of squeeze that. So all of the 12 meridians, they separated into yin and yang. Yin and yang. Yang means the sun. That's all it means. And yin means the absence of the sun. Right? All right, so now we're done with the fingertips. Now let's work on the joints again. And this time from the back of the hand. Okay, very gently massage the joints. In addition to the 12 meridians, there's actually another 8 principal vessels. All right, so now we're done with the left hand, back to the right hand, one joint at a time. Okay. And what we're massaging is not so much the joint or the muscle and the tendon, but more about what we call the energy points, points of these meridians where most likely there would be a blockage. All right. So now we're done with the fingers, the finger joints. So let's fold up a left fist and locate the knuckles. Take a right thumb, locate the edge of the thumb, and just fit it inside the knuckle and just massage. And then now let's massage the back of the palm. You see each of the fingers have an individual bone. They join together at the wrist, but before they join, you can kind of slide through that in between the bones, and then kind of massage the wrist a little bit. You can locate like 2 dimples in here. And now back to the thumb, and then just massage the thumb very thoroughly. And then locate this meaty part of the thumb. As you can see that this is like a drumstick. There's right here, and kind of press in with your right thumb, and then use the knuckle and just kind of, now you feel a little bit sore, right? Now the fingers is the meridian that they name after the lung, okay? So this is a good point to work on. And now we work on the right hand, take the left thumb, fit it between the knuckle, and then fit it between the bones. Massage the wrists, and then now massage the thumb. Okay, massage the thumb. And then kind of do an acupressure right here on that meaty part. Use the knuckle. Okay. All right. Now we're back to the center of a palm again. There's a very important energy points right in the center of the palm. It's actually between the middle fingers and the index finger. You can slide your fingers in here and locate that center part and kind of squeeze that a little bit. Squeeze that a little bit. Now I mentioned that the thumb is the meridian that we name after the lung. The middle fingers is the meridian that we name after the pericardium, which are the muscles around the heart. So that's the physical heart. And this one actually is a very important energy point. I translate into the chamber of labor. Okay. Now you can also use the knuckle and just do that. And then do that. Now let's put the hands together, locate the, and then just kind of massage the palm. And then now let's put the right hand on top of the left hand, center the palm on the back of the hand, fingers to kind of squeeze together, and just going to massage that. Now the fingers are very, very important because from a number of perspectives. One is that when we talk about the energy, the chi, the meridians, the fingers are the extremities. So if the energy that are come from inside your body goes to the outside, back to the universe, that's called yang. When it comes back, it's called yin. The extremities is where the energy returns, right? So if it's blocked here, it's blocked everywhere, right? Okay, so now we're going to do some finger exercise. And so one reason the fingers are important is because they're the extremities. Another reason that they're important is that the Chinese think of the energy system, whether it's the chi or the energy in the universe, in these 5 elements. It's the balance of these 5 elements that are important. These elements are the water, the vegetation, the sun, the soil, and the mineral, right? And they think that the fingers represent all 5, right? And the internal organs represent all 5. So they think that there is a connection between the fingers and the internals. Now, this next set of exercise is very famous Qigong exercise. It activates those energy, and it's found to be very good in recovery from a stroke. That's what it's famous for. It's a very simple exercise, but before we do anything, let's come back to the body. Locate the bottom of a spine, stretch towards the ceiling, lift up a shoulder, open up a shoulder, lean back, relax the shoulder, and then relax the upper torso. All right. And then exercise is very simple. So let's bring out our both hands and let's touch the thumb and the index finger together. And we squeeze as hard as we can. Then we take the thumb and touch the middle finger, the tip of the middle fingers, and we squeeze as hard as we can. Then the index finger, squeeze as hard as we can. And then also the little finger, squeeze as hard as we can. Then we're back to the thumb. The thumb is touching the middle, somewhere in the middle of the index finger, and we squeeze. Middle finger, squeeze. Index finger, squeeze. Little finger, squeeze. And just that simple. All right. Now, this is the first exercise. You can do this exercise towards the end, during the day, the entire day, whenever you have time. The next exercise has to do with the neurological health. You say, oh, how's the finger has to do with neurological health? The fingers have a lot to do with neurological health. If you think about how the humans were developed, and before they were Homo erectus, before they learned how to walk on 2 feet, on 2 legs, they have to learn to use the finger, right? Because they have to learn how to grab a weapon before they can walk down from the tree. So it was the development of the thumb and then the rest of the index that allows us to develop the brain. And so the fingers and the brains are very important. Not only that, separating the left brain from the right brain is also very important. I mentioned many times my father died of dementia. When I look back, it wasn't the loss of memory that was the beginning of his illness. It was the loss of coordination. Left brain, right brain, not only how to control the fingers and all that. And so this exercise is very simple, but it's quite challenging and it's very good for your brain. And so it has to come back to the body, stretch, open, lean back, relax. We're going to do this one hand at a time. Let's bring out the right hand, which means that we're using the left brain. Let's work on the fingers one at a time. Let's bring back the thumb, bring back 2 fingers, bring back the index, and then bring back the little fingers. I got mixed up with the index versus the ring. Okay, so let's forgive me on that. Now let's bring down the right hand, bring up the left hand, which means that we're using the right brain. First the thumb, then the 2 fingers, then the index, then the little fingers. And then now we're going to bring out 2 hands. We're going to squeeze as hard as we can. Focus on the right hand again, using the left brain. Undo the fingers, but in reverse order. Little fingers, index, 2 fingers, thumb. Bring down the right hand, bring up the left hand. Again, switching back to the left brain, right brain. Open the fingers one at a time in the reverse order. Little fingers, index, 2 fingers, and the thumb. Let's bring up both hands and then stretch as hard as you can. That's the first one. Second one, we're going to do it faster and faster. Right hand, thumb, 2 fingers, index, little fingers. Left hand, thumb, 2 fingers, index, little fingers. Squeeze, open the right hand, reverse order, little fingers, index, 2, thumb. Left hand, index, little finger, index, 2, thumb. And then stretch. That's the second time. Now, the very last time. Right hand, index, 2, thumb, index, 2, little fingers. Sorry about that. My tongue is all twisted. And then the left hand is thumb, 2, index, little fingers. Squeeze, open it back, little fingers, index, 2 fingers, thumb. And then the left hand, little fingers, index, 2, thumb. Stretch as hard as we can. Okay, that's it. All right. This is very famous for exercising the brain, preventing dementia. All right, now stretch, open, lean back, relax. Going to put the palm of the hand together, the fingers together. Let's push the thumb, the palms together. Sit up straight, and then kind of bring the hands down. Feel the pain around the wrist. Okay, and now we're going to start tapping and coming back to the fingertips. These are very important energy points. Let's tap the fingertips 30 times. Focus on the fingertips. Get ready, go. Let's cross the fingers, and there's 8 energy points in between the fingers. And I'm going to tap that 30 times as well. Get ready, go. Okay, now we're going to tap the palm of the hand, 2 energy points, one below the little fingers and one below the thumb. This energy line here is named after the heart, but this time is the mental side, whereas here is more the physical side. Okay, not necessarily that separate, but more one is emphasis. And then over here is the thumb. That's we named it after the thumb. So let's put our palms together. Locate the meaty part of the palm below the little fingers. Sit up straight. We're going to tap that 30 times. Get ready, go. And then turn it the other way. Get ready, go. Okay, now the Western scientists start to understand the importance of the small intestines, right? Your digestions actually starts at the small intestines, this fermentation. You start with the mouth, that's where you get the slivers, and then come down to the stomach, that's really more just for grinding up food. And then the digestion actually start at the small intestines. And these days, people understand how important it is to have probiotic health. And now the Chinese actually understand that, and the yang side of this of the heart, the mind, is the small intestines. Okay, and there's a study now that shows that people who suffer from Parkinson tend to have digestion problems, and so that might not be correlated, but it's interesting. So now we're going to go from the yin side, which is away from the sun, to the yang side, which is facing the sun, going from the heart or the mind to the small intestine. This energy points is actually right here where you fold your palm, and it's right there. So now we're going to put those 2 points together, spread out the palm, roll up the fingers, okay, 30 times. Okay, now that's the little fingers. Now the thumb I mentioned is named after the lung. The lung is considered mineral, right? That's the lung actually is not just for breathing, it's to take the nutrients, right? The source of the life energy all through the body. The opposite of that is the large intestine. This is actually where you take all your toxins and pass it out. All right. And then so the yin and the yang is very interesting. The yin side is what we call the treasure organs. The yang side is what we call the vessel organs, the empty vessel organs, right? All right. So the opposite of that is what we call the merging valley. So you take your hands like this, you feel that like there's a valley here. So let's take this energy point, put that on top, and tap that 30 times. And then the other side. Okay, now I'm going to talk about some energy points that are important for high blood pressure as well as cholesterol and as well as pain management. Okay, they're very similar. And I think out of all the modern disease that are being treated, I believe that the two that are most common is high blood pressure and cholesterol. Right? Unfortunately, high blood pressure and cholesterol are not the disease. They're the symptom of a much deeper disease. The unfortunate part is that the Western side, the Western doctors, they don't actually treat the disease. They just treat the symptom. Now, let's take high cholesterol. High cholesterol is the main reason that you have cholesterol in the blood vessel is because the blood vessels are inflamed. Okay, and now two energy points that are important for. There's a whole bunch, and I'll go through that for high cholesterol, meaning that the two energy points that are important for reducing inflammation is this one here called the merging valley, and then this one here called the pond at the bend. They're all part of the large intestine energy line. So let's do some acupressure here. Okay, so I'll get back to the fingers. Open that, locate the valley, but now locate the ridge right here. Take your right thumb, locate the line, put the line on top of the ridge, go down and just press, right? And you feel a little bit of numbness like that. Now this energy point turned out to be very important for both high blood pressure and cholesterol, as well as for pain relief, right? So if you have some problem with the shoulder, the neck, that heart, migraine, all that, this one actually helps. Now then you go over here at the bend, same thing. And then it's back to here, taking the thumb, press down, all the way here, press down. Now, we are doing acupressure. You could also do acupuncture, right? Now, of course, we can't do that. We're not professional. But if you happen to find a good acupuncturist, and they would also put a pin in here, put a needle in here. Now, I'm going to talk about maybe two other energy points that are good if you have pain like I am now, slight pain. And I just, one is the thumb. For some reason, these days, my thumb hurts a lot. Hurt because I do some massage for my mom and so forth. Maybe that's a problem. Now, I find that this is my own experience. I find that there's an energy point that are very good for reducing the pain on your fingers. And you take your right hand like this, you take your left hand like this, you cross them, then you take the index finger on the left hand, you reach over using it as a ruler, and you touch the top of the hand. Then you bring out your thumb, you put that on top as if you're balancing on a hard wire, a wire, and then you press down. You notice that the bone opens up. There's a crack. It's a magical point that actually reduced the pain on my thumb. I use it all the time. There's another one that sometimes when I have a lower back problem, it was really good too, which is when you come back to the bend, you measure 4 fingers, you locate the bone, and it's on the outside of the bone. You press down, and gives me some relief on my lower back pain. Okay, now let's try the other side. Take your left hand, your right hand, cross, use the index finger as your measuring tool, reach over, use the thumb, put that on top of the bone, balance, and then push down. Notice that the bone cracks open. That's one. That's good for your thumb. The other one that I find is good for both my shoulder and my lower back is back to the bend again, measure 4 fingers, locate the bone, and then on the outside the bone, outside the bone, press. Those two helps, all right? Okay, so now we're gonna come to the next part of a regimen, which is scraping. So you notice that we are doing massage, tap, acupressure, and now scraping. Everything that we do except acupuncture. Just because we don't know, we're not licensed to do that. And it's pretty scary if you think that you can just stick a needle into your own body. All right, so we're gonna scrape, and we use a scraping tool like this, like the knuckle. But then you can also buy something from Amazon like this, okay? It's up to you. All right, now we're gonna scrape, and we're gonna scrape the energy line in the inside, called the yin. First, we're gonna locate the center part of the arms from the elbow to the wrist. Take our scraping tool and just kind of scrape at the elbow. Now, some of you, if you're doing this for the first time, you find, oh, it really hurts when you do that. Well, the Chinese said that if it hurts, it means that your qi is blocked. It hurts because your body is inflamed, right? I mentioned many times that the old way of writing the word qi is the combination of 2 words. One is no, and the other one is fire. No fire. It means that no inflammation. All right, so now we're going to move towards the bone. First, locate the bone. On the inside of the bone is the lung meridian, again from the elbow along the bone to the wrist, back. And now let's scrape on the bone. And you might ask, well, why scrape on the bone? I thought these are meridians. Well, actually, they're called meridians because they go like this. But then there's flow that goes like this. So they actually flow across. And when you scrape your bone, and if you feel any kind of kinks, that tells you that there's some blockage. Now the other side, on the outside of the bone. And then the center part, outside the bone is the large intestine. The center part is some energy point that have energy lines that have no Western equivalent. It's called the triple warmer. And then the back of the palm, fingers, the thumb, and then center, outside the bone, on top of the bone, inside the bone, center, and then very lastly, we're going to massage the one that called the mind. Now, as we age, our it's not that we're losing our mind. It's just that somehow I can't find the English translation. It's like the stability. So the mind wanders around, and they think that it's because this energy line is weak. So let's focus on this right here at the wrist, and one of the ways that you know that that's a problem is when you can't get a really good deep sleep, right? Because you're like, and then all the way to the elbow. Now, this energy line start at the little fingers, travels all the way past the elbow and then into the armpit. So we're going to tap the armpit in a minute, but where it passes through is right here. And so if you don't feel any muscle here, okay, then you need to work on that. And I Ching Ching has one exercise that works on this muscle. This muscle is very important for the mind meridian. Okay, now we're going to do the right hand and then scrape the center from the elbow to the wrist, back, and then the inside of the bone, and then back, on top of the bone, and then back, outside of the bone, and back, center, all the way to the palm, fingers, thumb, palm. Now, if you have carpal tunnel, if you're right-handed, then you will find that this scraping this size provide a lot of relief, right? When you have carpal tunnel, especially at night, either you cannot fall asleep, it's just like this very unpleasant feeling on your arm, or you might even wake up in the middle of the night just with this really unpleasant feeling, and then eventually it becomes pain, unbearable pain, and you go to the doctor and they inject steroid, right? Because steroid is anti-inflammatory, right? Everybody understands that. But the problem is that your body is full of steroid. It's called cortisol. And the problem is that when you lose sensitivity to your own steroid, then your body inflames, right? Okay. So this one really helps. I do this a lot because I use my fingers a lot, right? And so this one really helps me. I do this whenever I sit down, I will scrape my own hand. All right, so we're going to come to the next exercise, a finger exercise. And this time we'll move to the shoulder. So if you have a frozen shoulder, this one would be a good exercise for you. Anything to avoid injecting steroid. Okay, now we're going to stretch, lift up the shoulder, open the shoulder, lean back, and then relax. All 10 fingers pointing the camera, locking the elbow. Roll up the 4 fingers, okay, and then wrap the thumb around the 4 fingers. The 4 fingers are the spring, wind up the springs, and then the thumb just hold it down, okay? And then wind up as hard as you can, and then get ready, go. 1, back, wind it up, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so this one is very good for the carpal tunnel. The next one is good for the shoulder. And come back to the spine, stretch, open, lean back, relax. And when you open, you reveal these 2 energy points as part of the lung. Okay, so this one is called the gate to the cloud. So they think of the lung, the mineral line, like the moistures in the morning, like the fog, right? And the fog has to come down and moisturize the soil. And so they think of this energy line like this. And this is the place where they think that if you open it, and it would allows the mineral to come to your body. And then now we're going to do what's called a lotus hand. We take the thumb and the middle finger and squeeze. Then we take the other three, stretch. Then we put the lotus hand on top of the gate to the cloud. Once again, opening that, sit up straight, back of the hand facing the camera, get ready. One, come back, lotus hand, pushing the thumb and the middle finger, stretching the other three. Put that on the gate to the cloud, open that, get ready. Two, come back. Three, come back. Four, come back. Five, six, seven, eight, nine, and 10. Okay? All right. So I mentioned two of the very modern illness that we have, especially as we age. One is high blood pressure, and the one is cholesterol, and both of which are just symptoms. Especially the high blood pressure, that is just a symptom. Now you do know that there is something called. Let me see if I find a name. They always have these very fancy names. So blood pressure is called hypertension, right? Everybody knows that, and there's a study that says that 95% of the people who suffer from hypertension that are being treated medically are called essential hypertension. Wow, I said, wow, that's such a great name. What does that mean? So you look it up. Essential hypertension means we don't know why you have high blood pressure. We just don't know. That's in the medical journal. We don't know, but we treat it anyway. Well, the problem is that high blood pressure is a symptom of a very deep problem, and half of it is because your heart and your lung doesn't work efficient enough, and you don't get enough oxygen into your brain, and so the heart compensates by increasing the pressure of the pump. Right now, my mother has high blood pressure, right? Slightly elevated high blood pressure, so she takes medicine. But the problem is that after so many years, you start to suffer. Sometimes you do it immediately, but then even if you could find a medicine that uh, seemingly has no bad effect, over time it will. And so a couple of years back, after ironically after my father died, we started paying attention to her health, and she was coughing all the time. And then we traced it to the high blood pressure medicine. We keep changing, and she's suffering from all the side effects: coughing, retaining of water, loss of sleep, you name it. And then eventually, we went to a Chinese medical medicine, traditional Chinese medicine doctor, listened to her chi, and then also listen to her pulse. And he says, so you know what? She misses the pulse every once in a while. So it turns out the high blood pressure is coming from her heart, right? And that's the problem. Is high blood pressure, half of it is because from the heart and the lung, you're not getting enough oxygen into your brain. And so these two energy points that we're going to work on now, actually a total of three, will clear the channels that allow more efficient transfer of oxygen into your brain. But also, if you're taking high blood pressure medicine, then since you don't have enough oxygen to begin with, and the high blood pressure medicine makes it even worse, then you develop a lot of pain in right in this part. So it's good to learn how to massage that. So the first energy point is called the pond of chi, and so we sit up straight, open the shoulder, relax, and then we take a hand, put that in the back of the hand, sit up straight, okay, look straight ahead, and then use the thumb and just slide on the left side and the right side, and you find this cavity, this dimple. That's the one. That's the chi. That's the pond of wind. Now, wind is in Chinese the four elements. The wind is something you cannot see, cannot taste, cannot smell. So this is their way of explaining neuronautical, right? All right, so now we put a thumb, press down with the thumb, lean back a neck, Okay, keeping the pressure as if you're squeezing the water hose, and then relax. Now we're going to take the right hand, put that on top of the left, using the forefingers, push down, lean back, maintain the pressure. And then we're going to take the left side of the neck and then pull it always to the right as if we are opening your channel. We're going to do the same thing on the other side, push down and then bring it to the left. Okay. Now we're going to take the right palm, right hand, fingers on below the ear, and we're going to massage. 1, 2, 3. And then the other side. 1, 2, 3. And then on the left. 1, 2, 3. On top of the ear. 1, 2, 3. And then now we're going to use the 2 thumbs again, and we're just going to massage this energy point. And then we're going to move towards the ear on top of the bone, and we're going to massage these 2 energy points. This too will help you sleep. Okay, now we're going to put the thumb on one side, 4 fingers on the other, and squeeze that. Massage, massage, massage like that. Okay, now this is the first set of energy points that are important for lowering your blood pressure. The other set is right in the middle of the neck, and we're going to massage that. And then we're going to come down. Now you can just leave your hand inside your clothes. I'll put it outside so you can see these 2 energy points on either side of the spine. It's called the door of wind. Okay. All right. Okay. Now we're going to massage the left side of the neck. We're going to use the right hand, the index finger, the edge of the index finger as a scraping tool. Scrape the left side of the neck. Then we're going to massage the top of the shoulder. This one is called the well on the shoulder. Go down. There's another cavity here. Back to the door of the wind. And then we're going to massage the shoulder. Okay. And then the other side. Right here. Here. Back. And then massage the shoulder. Now the problem is that often when we have pain, we take pain medicine. So first you mask the disease by removing the symptom, taking high blood pressure medicine. Then you mask another symptom, which is the blockage of chi here, by taking pain medicine. All right. All right. All this time making the pharmaceutical company very happy, very wealthy, which is good if you invest in SP 500, right? All right, so now we're done with the back, the left and the right. Let's work on the front, all right? So let's come back to the center of your palm and use your knuckle, activate that energy point. And then we're gonna put that together, circular motion. Now this is the only energy point in your entire body that can actually put out feeling energy. Now we're gonna learn to put that in front of our eye by forming what's called an empty hand. Put that in front of your eye. Now you can either do this with the eye closed or with the eye open. But if you open your eye and you see light, that means that you need to adjust your fingers so you don't see any light. We want to see the heat. The heat is the infrared. Okay. Okay, let's get started. All right, get ready. Go. Put that in front of your eye. Okay, second time. Put that in front of your eye. One last time. Put that in front of your eye. Now massage the face. Massage the side of the face. And then now put the center of your palm on the temple. Massage your temple. Okay, and then massage your forehead. But before you massage your forehead, massage in between your eyebrow. And you feel a lot of stress there, right? Yeah. And then massage your forehead. And then massage this part where the hair starts. And then massage your brain, your big brain, the one that is responsible for all your cognitive functions. Move to the top, to the back. That's the part that's responsible for all your memory. Go further down, your small brain, responsible for all your motor functions. And then the neck, back to top of the ears, back to the furries, back to the fingers. All right. Now, the exercise that we just did earlier, I didn't want to stop to explain, but the one where you put it in front of the eye, there's some explanation in there. And you know how people talk about how if the mother's milk is very, very nutritious for the baby. And so these days, I mean, back in the old days, that's the only thing we have. But nowadays, they encourage the mother to feed the baby as opposed to using formula. And because of their modern lifestyle, the mother often have to pump the milk and then store it, heat it back up at the baby, which is fine. That's very healthy. It is very healthy, but it's missing one mechanism, which is the exchange of the saliva. I mean, using the saliva as an exchange mechanism. So there's a study that says that the baby actually is communicating with mom when you're actually feeding them in real time. And so the mother would then understanding what they need. This is just some study that I read, and then would adjust the formula, adjust the milk so that it's custom for the child. What we just did with the eye and the palm is sort of like that. The eyes are sending signal to a body. The body is adjusting the energy to feed into the body for self-healing. Okay, that's just something that I read. All right. Okay, so now we're going to work on in front of us. And so we're going to work on around the eyes, right? Now, as we age, we get a lot of problems with the eyes. Next time you go to the eye doctor, right? And you kind of just you would start to understand how many people go to the eye doctor as they age, right? Not just for myopic or that. You start to have a lot of disease. People with diabetes have to go to the doctor all the time, right? People with glaucoma, just all kinds of things. So eye is very important as we age, obviously. Now the eye has three energy points on top and three energies on the bottom. First stop at the top. Let's use this index finger, put it around the beginning of the eyebrow. Everybody's eyebrow is different, but if you can actually feel a dimple. So just kind of push down with your index finger, sit up straight, use your neck muscle a little bit to provide that pressure. And then relax, put the index fingers in between eyebrow and massage your eyebrow as if like you're squeezing toothpaste. And then take your thumb, put that below the left eye, below the eye bag, going from the corner to the tail, massage. Same thing on the other side, massage. Now come back, put your thumb at the corner of your eye, move up slightly so you're on the eye socket, and you can actually find a dimple there too. And let's sit up straight, and we apply some pressure with the thumb. There's two energy points called the bright eye. It's people study that and think that it's important for maintaining the pressure inside your eye, preventing glaucoma. And now let's do some eye yoga, eye exercise. Okay, sit up straight, close your eye, rotate the eyeball towards the up, so you're looking at the ceiling. Rotate the eyeball to the right, so you're looking as far as you can. Locate the eyeball down, so you're looking at the floor. Now back to the left, back to the top. Let's get started clockwise. Top, okay, top, right, down, left, up, right, down, left, up, right, down, left, up. Okay, now let's do counterclockwise. Left, down, right, up, left, down, right, up, left, down, right, up. Open your eyes. Okay, very bright, huh? Very bright. All right, so now let's do two fingers from the corner of your eye, go down, one, all the way to the corner, to the chin, two, three. Now let's bring back a thumb down to the cheek and then push up. This one actually is also good for getting good night's sleep. And then you use the index finger on the outside. This is good for your sinus. Then the four fingers to massage. Now this is the part of the body that actually senses whether or not you have enough oxygen. And this is the part that is responsible for increasing your high blood pressure to heal yourself. And the doctor just knock it down, right? Imagine someone trying to break into your house and you call the doctor and you call the police hang up on you. Not only that, but cut your telephone wire. All right, so now let's learn how to massage the ear. The ear is very important. It has the shape of your fetus. It actually contains all the energy points in the rest of your body. There's 260 of them in your ear. And we separate into three parts, reflecting the three separate chambers, the one above the diaphragm, the one below the belly button, and then the one in between. Okay, first the top, put your thumb on the top, put your four fingers and just kind of massage. Then put your thumb in the middle and massage. Put the index finger in the bottom, massage the back of the ear. Now massage the tip, yank, massage the edge, massage the ear loop, yank. Put the thumb behind the ear loop, put the index fingers just outside of the ear canal, and then massage. Now we're going to learn to massage the back of the ear. The back of the ear is very important for reducing blood pressure. And we use the thumb, locate that bend in the back and just kind of massage that all the way down from the top to the bottom. And then use two fingers, one on the ear, one on the skull, and massage the top to the bottom. Do the same thing on the other side. Massage the rim, the back of the ear, all the way down, and then massage the back. Okay, we're going to do one more thing, which is called drumming the ear. So we take two hands, we put it behind the ear, we close the ear, and then stretch it, and then release. Okay, second time, third time. All right. Okay, now we come to the top of the head. The top of the head is another energy point that is important for high blood pressure. It's where all the energy come together. It's called the 100 beat. Now, in order to tap that, you need to locate that on top of your central nervous system. So we do that by once again, stretch your spine, lift up a shoulder, open a shoulder, lean back, and then relax. But then in addition, we need to lean back the forehead so the ears on top of the shoulder, and then we need to tuck in the chin. So the top of the head now is on top of your central nervous system. You take your fingers, you put that on top. We're going to come back to tapping now. Get ready? Go. Okay. And so I mentioned this many times. One of the way that the body is telling you whether or not you have the proper balance or the proper harmony between your two autonomous system, the what is called the fight or flight, and one is called the rest and digest. You should check to see if your mouth is dry, right? And this is the first thing that when you go to a traditional Chinese medical doctor, that's what they ask. They said, "Is your mouth dry?" If your mouth is dry, that means that you're stuck on fight or flight. That's the first thing that the autonomous system do. When you enter into the sympathetic nervous system, it shuts your saliva. Why? Because for 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 tens of millions of years, you're running away from the tiger when you enter into fight or flight. So that's the time when you don't care about your immune system, you don't care about your digestions, you don't care about your reproduction, obviously, and all of that is from the saliva. So it turns it off. Now, when you don't know how to return back to the rest and digest, it stays dry. And so Western people, they think that hydration is very important. They carry around with gallons of water. In my perspective, it's the self hydration that is important. And so when we're doing this exercise, I keep asking you to pay attention to your body, and even as simple as tapping your head. You think of all these actions as if you're playing a musical instrument. When you play an musical instrument, you don't just play with your fingers, you play with your ear, you play with your mind. And so when you're tapping, take that opportunity to focus your mind. And when you focus your mind, you enter into uh, uh, rest and digest. You now have a chance to restore the sensitivity to the steroid, therefore unblocking the self-healing power of your body. And so let's try that, okay? So now we're going to tap the top of the shoulder. We start at the top of the head. We're going to go all the way to the bottom of the feet. So let's think of our shoulder, our body as a musical instrument. And so we're going to stretch, open, lean back, relax, relocate the top of the head, shoulder, and the in front, all these two energy points we know. We take the right hand, empty hand, so that we're using air and not just the palm of the hand. We put the fingers on top, hop in front, sit up straight, turn your head to the right, listen with your left ear, okay? As if you're playing the instrument. And if you could focus your mind on your body, then you're in the rest and digest, okay? Get ready? Go. Wake up. Continue. Oh, hang on. Okay, get ready? Go. Okay, it's very important to use empty hand because what you're doing is really setting up a vibration. All right, get ready on the other side. Left hand, put that on the right. Sit up straight. Get ready. Go. Continue. Okay, now we're going to tap. This one is part of the gallbladder energy line. This one is part of the lung energy line. Now we're going to come to the one that is part of the heart, the mental side of the energy. And so it turns out that this in here and this in here are four energy points. There's four more on the lower part of the body. They are the name. Those are the one that is the Chinese have many years have considered to be the place where the bad energy, the evil energy might enter. What they're talking about is virus. Okay. So you say, well, wait a minute, how does that work? It turns out that these are the places where you have your lymphatic system, right? So the lymphatic system obviously is important for your prevention, right? All right, so sit up straight, open your shoulder, lean back, relax. Let's take the left elbow, put that on the top of the head. Sit up straight. So you're stretching this part, right? This is important. Now pinch the right side of your ear, and if I have time, I'll explain what it is. And then the right hand, put that here. Turn your head to the right. Remember now, you're playing the instrument. Get ready? Go. Wake up. And then the other side, put the elbow on top, sit up straight, just pinch the left upper part of the left ear, turn the head to the left, left hand, empty hand, get ready, go. Wake up. Okay, now this is the eight, the first two of the eight cavity. Then the other two, the next two are actually the armpit. And remember, we talked about the three energy lines in the inside. So we need to wrap around your hand. So once again, using the empty hand, lock your elbow, wrap your hand around it. So fingers on top, palm on the side, on the middle. Raise it so that the palm is at eye level. Turn your head to the right. Listen with the left ear. Get ready. Go. Wake up. And the other side, get ready. Turn your head to the left. Wake up. Continue. Okay. So I mentioned high blood pressure, cholesterol, there are others. All of them are basically symptoms, and the doctors treat to remove the symptom. But the underlying problem is that you're losing not only your self healing power, but you're losing your immunity. That's a problem, right? So that's why out of the well, actually, it's 1.5 million people, Americans, that die during the pandemic. 90% of them have high blood pressure. They all treated, right? They all treated. They treat the symptom without solving the underlying problem. And if you don't solve the underlying problem, you have no self healing, no immunity. And so even if they take the shots, the shot doesn't kill you. The shot just introduce you to your future enemy, but it doesn't help you in terms of your immune system, right? And all right, so we now move to the lower part of the body. The lower part of the body has another set of 6 energy points, and they are much more to do with the metabolic. So the first energy point, the first 2 are actually inside our thigh above the knee. The first one is part of the splint energy line, is known to reduce cholesterol. Again, it's really to reduce your inflammation. It's very easy to find. You start at the knee, you measure 3 fingers instead of inside. Sit up straight. You use your empty fist so you don't hold it tight. It's not a hammer, okay? Get ready? Go. And then inside, that's the liver. And then now close the knee. 2 on the outside, that's part of the energy line that we name after the gallbladder. These 2, this one is named after the wind. So these 2 are known for reducing your chance of having a stroke, or if you do have a stroke, how to recover from it. Get ready? Go. Okay? Listen to your ears, okay? It's an instrument. Get ready? Go. Okay? Now that's above the knee. Below the knee, there's a very important energy point right here. It's the first cavity that is good, that is important for your immune system. Get ready? Go. In the middle. And then further down. Actually, if you want it precise, go to your knee and then measure it 4 fingers. Get ready? And you feel tingling on your toes, okay? Get ready? Go. Okay? These 2 are called the tingling belt. So you feel tingling, hanging belt. Okay, so this is the gallbladder. Now we come to another yang energy line, which is the stomach. The next 2 are important for your, the first one is important for your digestion, and then together, both of them are important for your cholesterol. It's very easy to find. First, locate your knee, measure 4 fingers, locate the bone, just on the outside of the bone. So let's close the knee. We're going forward, okay? Get ready, go. And then measure another 4 fingers, locate the bone, just on the outside of the bone. Get ready, go. Okay, now the next one is at the bottom of the calf. The calf is considered to be the second heart. And so the bottom of the calf is actually very important. It's important for both high blood pressure and dementia. Okay, so we'll put that on the right knee. You feel that pain, do that on the other side. And then we're going to tap that 30 times. Get ready, go. And the other side. Okay, so the doctors will tell you that one of the ways that you can reduce your chance of having dementia is to have regular exercise, and the best exercise is walking. You want to energize the calf. Now, but then there are all kinds of reasons why you cannot walk, whether or just that you don't have the strength. So it's very simple. It's actually very simple. You make sure you have something that you can hold on to, and when my dad was alive, I had these vertical pole all over the house where he can grab on. And so if you have one of those, you can grab onto it and just stand. But when you stand without locking your knee. So you bend it slightly to activate your calf. That's a good exercise, all right? Okay. And you will know that in Eugene Jing, that's how we do it, right? Okay, so let's see. Okay, so now we work on the toes, all right? Back to the toes, right? Okay, so put your fingers in between the big toe and the second one. You notice that this is very similar to this, right? So once again, this is important for your high blood pressure. So you kind of put where the before the toes join together, and you just kind of put some acupressure here, and then. Now, this explains the other reasons why you would have high blood pressure. One is you don't have enough oxygen into your brain, your heart, and your lung are not working properly. The second one is that you have too much anxiety. Too much anxiety. Once again, because you turn off your saliva. So if you have any one of you who suffer from high blood pressure, ask yourself, is my mouth dry? Because you have too much anxiety, right? And anxiety and anger, they are the fire element. And the one that feeds fire is vegetation, is wood. And those who have that problem, they have problem with the liver energy line. Okay. All right. So now we scraped your bottom of your feet. So I mentioned having dry mouth is a problem. That's an indication. The other one is you pay attention is the bottom of your feet, right? If you start to have a lot of calluses and maybe even sore that doesn't heal, or maybe toenails that has problem, you're not getting enough circulation. Your body prioritizes, and so it puts all your oxygens and whatever into your internal organs and ignore the bottom of your feet. And so you look at your bottom of your feet and you see if it is nice and pink. You don't want it red and you don't want it pale. Okay, scrape your heel, and then scrape the ball area, and then massage your toes, and then ask yourself, are my toes really cold? Right? Do I have problem going to sleep at night because the toes are very cold? And there's a very simple cure. You put a bucket of water inside your shower, you put a chair inside your shower, and you soak your feet with hot water. Okay? And then now, this is the important part where we scrape the arch. The arch is where there are two of the important energy line passes through. One is the splint, and one is the kidney. Okay. Now you scrape between the knee and your ankle, right below the bone. This is where the splint energy line goes. Okay. All right. Okay. So now you're back to the right below the ball area. This is the important energy point. This is again important for high blood pressure. It's called the gushing spring. And then you tap that. Okay. So you bend your toes back. You fold your hands like this 30 times. Get ready. Go. Continue. Okay, now get aside quickly because we still have a lot to do, right? And then push, and then scrape the bottom of your feet, scrape the heels, scrape the ball area, massage the toes, scrape the arch, and then scrape between your ankle and your knee, right below the bone. And then come back and push, 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 and then tap that 30 times. Get ready? Go. Continue. Okay, all right. Okay, so now we're going to do today's exercise, which is the Yi Jing Jing. Again, now Yi in this case can be translated into exchange or renewal. Jing, the Yi Jing Jing is translated into tendon, and then the last word is the method, right, of exchanging or renewing the tendon. Except that it doesn't mean tendon. There's another meaning that is much more important, is the connected tissue. The connected tissue is the channel where the chi passes. So it's really clearing the channel. That's actually a more accurate description. It's clearing all the channel. Okay. All right. Now, in modern perspective, it's a good exercise because it combines stretching and and then also the muscle, and then also the um, combine all the essential exercise. Now, it's very simple exercise. First, we stand with the feet firmly on the ground. Then we rotate the toes inward and releasing up the knee. Remember I said how important it is to activate the second heart? Then you lift up your shoulder, you open your shoulder, and you lean back. And you lean back your forehead, you tuck in your chin. So you're forming this straight line with the central nerve system. Then you take the center of your palm, you point it down, but you move it slightly back so that you're on either side of the straight line. Then you focus on the center of your palm. And when I say go, you check to see if your mind is at the center of your palm. Okay, so this is a traditional yoga exercise. Get ready, go. And then now you send that shock wave from the bottom all the way up to the top and back down through the central nerve system. This is called the spirit boosting palm. Well, after you do that, you relax, you focus on your breath. You feel that you're breathing in, you feel that you're breathing out. You do that one more time. I know I'm breathing in, I know I'm breathing out. Now, it's very important that you spend equal time between the energetic exercise and the restorative exercise. The energetic exercise is the yang. That's when you release your stress hormone. You release your your um, your steroid because you're in fight or flight. The steroid reduces the inflammation in your body. Then you go into the restorative. You force yourself into you put yourself into the rest and digest, and that's when you number one, you don't have any stress hormone. Number two, you're restoring the sensitivity. That's when you restore your self-healing power. How do you know? well, check your saliva. Okay, second time, open, get ready, focus, go. Relax, focus on your breath, check the inside of your mouth. One last time, get ready, open your shoulder, go. And then relax. Now, the next one is called pointing the one tail. One tail is the name of this energy point, which means that your focus now goes from the palm to the thumb, right? In Chinese, pointing is the same as the thumb. Both word and noun are the same. So you point and you roll up your fingers, 4 fingers. You imagine you have 2 buckets of water, one on either side, and then you bend your thumb upward to lift up those 2 buckets of water. Now, the thumb is both the lung and the large intestine. So together, they're providing what modern people would call detoxification. And then you relax with the lower of the hand, focus on your breath, make sure that you're entering into rest and digest. And then second time, and then relax. One last time. And then relax, lower your hand, completely relax, focus on your breath, close your mouth. If you have to, put the tip of the tongue where the teeth meets the roof of your mouth. Make sure that your mouth is nice and wet. The next one is called the beginner's mind. This is what the baby does when they're inside the mother's womb, energize both their heart and the pericardium. You put your thumbs across, you roll up your 4 fingers, and you squeeze your fists, and then relax. You notice that the babies, they don't know how to do anything. They can't do anything when they were born. They know how to do one thing. If you put your fingers on the palm, they will squeeze it. Second time, squeeze your fists and then relax without lowering your hand. After 2 breaths, one last time, squeeze your fists and then lower your hand, relax. Okay, now put your fists together, put it below your belly button, take a deep breath, and then relax. Bring your elbows together. Now there's an energy point. We didn't have time to do it today, but it's actually behind your elbow, this right here behind the bone. And what you want to do is you want to open that and then relax. Second time, open that and then relax back to the breath. One last time, and then relax. Now the next one is called fists on top of the head. So you take your fist, you put that on top of your head, you open your shoulder, you open your fist, and you roll your fist by 1 joint, 2 joint, lock it with your thumb, and you squeeze as if you're pumping the blood back into your heart. And then you open, relax, let the blood come back. So this is cardio. Second time, relax. One last time. And then open your fingers, focus on your breath. And then now open your shoulder. The next one called stabbing the shoulder. So you open your shoulder, you grab the 2 daggers, you point the dagger on top of your shoulder, and you stab, and you feel this tightness in the back of your neck, those 2 energy points, the palm of wind, yeah. And then you relax, let the circulation go to the top of your head. After 2 breaths, second time, stab, and then relax. One last time, open your shoulders, stab, and then relax. Next one is called the cross. Now you're not punching, you're pushing, okay? Remember this, because it's in Chinese, there's a word called bang, which avalanche. You don't punch a mountain to cause avalanche, you push. First, the wrist, then the fist, then you take a deep breath, you hold your breath and you push And then relax. Focusing on your breathing. Check the inside of your mouth. Second time. And then relax. Back to the breath. Very important, okay? Very important. You already have too much stress hormone in your body. You need to relax. Wrist, fist, take a deep breath, push, and then relax. Front hanging, same thing. Lock your elbow. Get ready. Wrist, fist, breath, push, and then relax. After 2 breaths, second time. Wrist, fist, take a deep breath, push, and then relax. One last time. And then relax. Now the next one, the next 2 is about muscle. So lift up your arm, lift up your head as if you're doing a chin up, grab the bar and pull yourself up. And then relax. Second time, pull yourself up. And then relax. See, we're exercising this muscle, right? It's very important. One last time, and you pull yourself up, and then relax. The next one is complementary to the first one. I call it ripping the yellow page. Grab the yellow page, and just rip the sucker open, and relax. Second time, and then relax. One last time, and then relax. Okay, now time to collect all your salivas. If you don't have any, you're doing it wrong. Swallow. Check your goat stand, back of the hand touching. Let me just grab this. Okay. Back of the hand touching, straighten up your back. This is about your kidney health. And then don't lock your knee, loosen up your knee, and then just go down like this. Back of the hand touching. Squeeze your fist. Relax. Second time. Relax. One last time. Relax. Now flip your hand. Okay, now make sure your knee is still loose like this, okay? Take a deep breath. Breathe out. Breathe in. Push. Breathe in. Breathe out. And relax, okay? So you notice that all the exercise that we do here are really to create the balance between the yin and the yang. Yin, in this case, is restorative, right? It's the rest and digest. Yang, in this case, is the energetic. That's the fight. It is the balance of the two that allows us to heal ourselves. Okay? And we survived the pandemic because we know how to heal ourselves. There were no medicine available to actually heal us. It was just medicine to introduce us to the enemy, right? Okay, so now we're going to do more of that yin-yang balance by doing this meditation practice called the wandering dragon chasing the pearl. It's again is between breathing in and breathing out, but using our diaphragm. So when we breathe in, we actually pull down the diaphragm, enter into fight or flight, and when we breathe out, we relax the diaphragm, returning to the rest and digest. Not only that, after the first exercise, we do the second one, is when we circulate the qi in the back. This is the primary vessel called the guardian vessel. which is the yang. This is when we truly enters into the fight or flight. And then we circulate back in the front, which is the yin. And this is where we rest and digest. It is that balance that gives us self-healing. It's just that simple. It's just that it doesn't benefit the pharmaceutical industry, right? All right, so let's get started. Let's sit upright. Make sure check our legs. Make sure that they're nice and firm. They're the pedestal to the rest of the body. The entire upper torso. You sit like the bell. Okay. Hands you relax. Locate the lower part of your spine. You stretch towards the ceiling. You stretch your spine as if you're hanging the center of your bell onto the ceiling. Now I'm going to add one more step today, which is before you lean back, you lean forward. And then now you lean back. But when you lean back, you try to hold your hip in place. So your hip is actually forward, but your upper torso is back. You start to feel the pressure on the two sides where the liver, where the kidneys are. And you want to hold that pressure. Then you lift up your shoulder. You open your shoulder. You relax the shoulder. You lean back your forehead, you tuck in the chin, so the top of the head is on top of the central nervous system. This is called the one pillar supporting the sky. You close your eye, but you don't shut it tight. You relax just like the baby. And then lastly is you put the tip of the tongue behind the teeth, where the teeth meets the roof of your mouth, close your mouth. This one does three purposes. It turns on your salivary gland, making sure that you're in rest and digest. It connects the conductive path, which we will use in a minute. And you make sure that whenever you have saliva, it flows into your stomach and not into your lung. Now we're ready to do the first part. The first part is mindful of the body to activate the chi. Once again, check the hip. Make sure the hip is forward and upper torso is back, maintaining the pressure on both sides of your lower back. Now focus on your belly button. Actually, is slightly below the belly button. There's an energy point. The belly button is where the umbilical cords are. That's where you get the physical nutrient from your mom when you're inside her womb. The energy point, this one called the Sea of Chi, is where you get the life energy. Now I want you to focus on your breaths. Know that I'm breathing in. Know that I'm breathing out. Okay? Now, when you know that you're breathing in, I want you to take your belly button and just bring it forward. And I know when you know that you're breathing out, I want you to bring the belly button back. Breathe in, forward. Breathe out, back. You're actually activating 4 energy points right now. 2 on the lower back when you rotate your hip forward and bring it back. One is for each kidney. That's yin and yang. One is yin, one is yang. Then there's another 2 energy point. One is below your belly button. That's yin. And then right behind that, right, the one in front is called the Sea of Chi. The one in behind that is called the Gate of Life. That's the yang. So you have 4 energy points here. When you breathe in, push the stomach forward. When you breathe out, bring your stomach back. Now, this exercise by itself is already very, very healthy. Let's do that for 3 minutes. Now, 3 minutes here means at least 5 minutes at home, right? You're going to expand that when you get home, when you're out of class. Just that I have limited time today. Now, this exercise by itself is already very good for you, very good for your health, because at the minimum, it increases your lung capacity. Because when you breathe in, you open your stomach, you bring down the diaphragm, increasing the lung capacity, getting more oxygen into your system. And when you breathe out, you close your stomach and you push up the diaphragm, emptying the lower part of your lung of any toxin. So that's already very good for you. The second part is that it actually activates um, your autonomous nervous system. When you breathe in, close your stomach, enter into fight or flight, and when you breathe out, open your stomach, returning to rest and digest, and also you're maintaining your tongue positions, energizing the salivary gland, getting more of the slivers into your stomach to help with digestions in your immune system. All that is very good, right? Restoring your harmony between the autonomous system, fixing problems such as autonomous disorder and also the cortisol resistance that I talk about. Now, there's actually a bunch of scientists doing that because it turns out that it's very common. This abdominal breathing is very common in all the spiritual practice. So they want to understand why. And so they start to measure what is called a heart rate variability. In other words, when you breathe in, your heart beats a little faster. When you breathe out, your heart beats a little slower. Now, if you have problem with your autonomous system, uh, that you will find that the variability is very small. It doesn't matter whether you breathe in or breathe out. But as you restore that harmony, that variability increases. And it's an indication of good health. There's been a study, the correlation between that and um, your protection from dementia, right? And your Apple Watch actually measures that if you know how to find it. It's called HRV, heart rate variability. Now we're going to do the second part. We're going to take it to one notch, not only restoring the harmony between our autonomous nervous system, but we're going to help with our neurological system, particularly the separation of the left brain from the right brain. I told you that the beginning of dementia is not memory, but the loss of balance. It is that separation of the left brain and the right brain. That's why most people who suffer from dementia has a drastic change in their personality because of their emotional part and the rational parts are start to kind of all messed up. Now we do this very simply by letting go of the belly button, but continue to focus on the breath. Know that I'm breathing in. Know that I'm breathing out. You know that your stomach actually opens slightly on its own when you breathe in, and you know that your stomach collapses slightly as you breathe out. Your body actually now has some muscle memory. I want you to focus on the lower part of your spine, that energy point that we call the door to the life. And when you breathe in, I want you to move from that along your spine to the top of your head. I want you to stretch your spine as you move up. And then when you breathe out, very simply, from the top of the head to the forehead to the nose, through the tongue, back to the stomach. And when you do that, I want you to relax, lean back and relax. When you breathe in, move to the top of the head, stretch. When you breathe out, lean back and relax. Always relax on the out breath. Now, what you're doing now is you're guiding the free electrons that you generate on your small intestines because they're piezoelectric and you're massaging it with your diaphragm. And you guide that through your spine to the top of the head. And you're using the chamber between the left brain and the right brain to provide that electric potential, separating the left brain from the right brain. Let's sit for 3 minutes before I end the class. I want you to do this on your own. 15 minutes, either in the morning or at night. 15 minutes is only 1% of your day. And after a while, you feel that there is some energy rising on your spine on its own. That's the chi. It's the life energy. It is actually the magnetic coupling between your body and the universe. When that happens, just follow it and follow it back down That's when you enter into what is called wandering dragon chasing the pearl. Let the pearl guide the dragon. The dragon is your mind. The pearl is the chi. And when you get to the top of the head, let the dragon be free. Don't lock it into your brain. Let it go into the cloud as if the cloud is the dragon's ancestor home. And then just wait for the out breath. Let it come back. You start to feel your head is very cool, but your stomach is very warm. The stomach becomes the dragon's cave. You let the dragon rest into cave. You can even feel the two little feet pressing on your lower back, maintaining that pressure. That's what I feel. That's because I watch too much cartoons, I think. Okay? So you enter into what's called wandering dragon chasing the pearl. Okay, open your eyes. All right, a little bit of quick massage. Wake up this body. All right, so I talk about inflammation being the reason for high blood pressure and cholesterol, but it doesn't end there. I read an article, for some reason I cannot find it anymore. I would have posted for you, but it's not difficult to find. And Western doctors are now started to really relate inflammation with aging. And they basically said that's what is called super aging are the people that for one reason or another their body does not inflame. And it correlates with a study called the Blue Zone, people living in Okinawa, all these places, um, because of their diet, because of the social pattern, because all kinds of reasons, their body doesn't inflame as much. And so they tend to age more gracefully. So this whole study is called inflammation aging, all right? And if you find an article that talks about inflammation, then it would now include not just high blood pressure, not just cholesterol, but diabetes and dementia and lupus and all kinds of disease, all tied to the body inflaming, chronic inflammation. So the question is that why does the body inflame like that? Because obviously you have too much stress hormone in your body. You have too much cortisol. That's why you cannot sleep. When you have so much cortisol, the body would not put out melatonin, right? Well, because you have so much that you lose sensitivity. In other words, you lose your self healing power. So, aging, graceful aging, or what I call mindful aging, it's all about unlocking, unleashing that self healing power. And that's what we do here. We exercise. But in the end, it's all about the mind. The mind. How do you deal with that thinking mind? How do you learn to harness it? Okay. All right. So that's the end of class, and I'll see you all next week. I will now do our weekly Dharma lecture, and you don't have to stay for that because everything that we do here is recorded. And if you have a limitation on your schedule, just say goodbye now and watch it on YouTube, okay, or Facebook. I even cut out this next part, the lecture, separately. Okay. All right. So let me talk about what I want to talk about today. And I thought I make it a little bit more entertaining. I'm a movie buff, and I like to talk about Dharma with movies. There are many movies that actually does a good job and kind of talk about um, the Buddhist teaching. But before I do that, I live in San Francisco, and we had an earthquake yesterday, and very minor, 3 point something, but it was only like 2 miles away from my home. And I said, wow. And I remember having a earthquake center so close to my home. So I looked it up. The last time it happened was in 1906, the big earthquake that burned down the entire city. So after the big earthquake, we had to rebuild the city. Where I live now is called the Richmond district. Is was just a sand dune before, and so they started to build that up after the earthquake. And one of the street next to where I live, just one block down, is called Fulton. Now, Fulton has a special meaning to me because back in the days when I was a student in mechanical engineering, Robert Fulton was very famous. Robert Fulton was known to invent the first steam engine boat, steamboat, river steamboat, and he did that in the early 1800s, right? So his first boat was actually sailing along the Mississippi River. Now it took 50 years before we learned how to put a steam engine inside a gunboat, and it revolutionized military because now not only can we travel very far, we can carry a lot of armory. In 1853, Commodore Perry, who was an admiral in the U.S. Navy, took 4 of those steam engine gunboats all the way around the world, starting from the east coast of the United States, travel all the way down to Japan, sail into the Tokyo Bay, and point those cannons into the palace and force the Japanese to open trade with the Western. They did. They did. Because Japan, like China, like Korea back in those days, were feudal. Were very backward compared to the West. They didn't really specialize in this modern warfare, and so they had really no way of defending themselves. But it shocked the Japanese. They shocked them into understanding the new order. So they decided that they want to modernize. Now, but before I talk about how they modernized, I need to go back and talk about what was the society in Japan then. Now, everyone, most of you have seen the TV series called Shogun. For those of you who are in my age group, probably watched the first one way back with a different set of star. Chamberlain is the one I remember. But Shogun, the TV series, talk about that part of the history. And Shogun actually started in 1800, 1600, when Japan was controlled by the warlords, these samurais. And in real life, it was the uh, well, in Shogun, it was Lord Taranaka, right? But in real life, it was not Taranaka; it was Tokugawa. That's the real life. And you remember the story about how he fought all his enemy and united Japan under his control and started what is called the Edo era. Edo means it's basically Tokyo. It means the East capital, whereas Kyoto, the old capital, just means capital. And so it started the Edo era, and his family was able to control Japan for almost 300 years, 260 something years. And when Commodore Perry drove the steam gunboats into Tokyo Bay, it forces the Japanese to recognize the importance of modernization. Otherwise, they have no way of protecting themselves. So there was a revolution of sort. And for those of you who watch the other movie called The Last Samurai by Tom Cruise would know that, because it talks about basically the end of what is called the Meiji Revolution, where they decided to abandon the samurai system, basically took the power away from the Tokugawa family and restored the power to the imperial court, right? Remember that, right? And so the movie Last Samurai was actually based on a real event called the Satsuma Revolution, which is actually in Gaosu, the southernmost island of Japan next to Nagasaki, right? So I think we all understand that part of the history. Now, if you kind of look at that history and then start to understand that and how Buddhism became popular in Japan and how Buddhism was really the enabler for the samurai, then you understand why we do what we do here. Now, if you look at, let's come back and now look at how Buddhism first came to Japan. So Buddhism came to China from India all the way around to all the what is now called the Pakistan, the Kazakhstan that entered into Tibet, and eventually came to China in basically about 200 years before Christ. But it didn't actually get to come to Japan until the 6th century, much later, almost 900 years later. And it first came to Japan. It wasn't very popular, and then it became popular in what is called the Kamakura era, and that's really like almost 200 years before Taranaka, Tokugawa. So when Buddhism came to Japan and when Zen Buddhism came to Japan, it lifted up the samurais into a much higher class. And so the country, the power of the country went from the imperial court to the warlords. And it was Tokugawa who united it, and then eventually had to give it back to the emperor. Okay. Now, so the question is, how did the samurai become so powerful? What does it have to do with the Zen meditation? Right? Now, I can talk about how Zen meditation was brought to Japan, but it's important to understand that when Zen Buddhism came to US, it was a Soto Zen Buddhism that came to Japan. The one that is popular in Japan was not Soto, and it was something called or something called Renzan. And Renzan Buddhist Zen meditation was only for the samurais. It was a much different way of practicing. And so back then, only the higher class, only the samurais would study meditation. I posted an article. I thought that was a great article that talks about human body. And it's really related to something that I talked about earlier, which is the 5 skandhas. That there's the form, and the form is just everything that is physical about us and about us around us. So it includes the physics and the physiology. That's the first one. The second one is what I call sensation, is when the eye sees the light, the ear sees the sound, the nose to smell, the mouth to taste, the body to touch. That takes physiology into neurology. And all the neural ending ends in the spiral cord. That's called sensation. And then they get bundled, send it to the brain, the thinking mind, and that's what I call feeling. And then from there, it creates the emotion and so on and so forth. I talk about that. Well, this paper that I pass around, this article that I pass around, I couldn't post a link on our group, but I posted on a Patreon group. So if you go there and you will see the original article, it talks about the speed of propagation of a nerve signal from our eye, ear, nose, body to the spine. The speed of that, the processing speed of that, is 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 one. I believe is 1 billion times a second. 1 billion times a second. What we would now these days call 1 gigahertz. You say, well, 1 gigahertz, that's very high. Well, actually, not so much because when you push your remote control to open your garage door, that's 2.4 gigaseconds. So that's fast, right? That's fast enough that it becomes radio wave. That is how fast the sensation works. Once it gets collected and it bundles into your thinking brain, it slows it down to 10 times a second. 10 times a second is very slow, right? Because our ear, a good ear, can hear as slow as 40 times a second. So that's very low. That's lower than that. So what meditation does to the samurais is to teach them how not to use the thinking brain, but how to use the rest of the intelligence system to understand the difference between the intelligence and the intellect. And so the whole practice using the Zen meditation is don't think, just feel. Feel, but don't think. And that's why when you see the samurai movie, the samurais would be facing each other and they would be basically meditating, slowing down the brain. And when it's time to strike, they would strike so fast that when the sword cuts through the body, it doesn't leave a blood on the sword. So what does that have to do with us? We're here to learn how not to use the brain. We're here to learn how to concentrate, but don't judge. If you concentrate, you anchor your mind on your body or on your breath. You're one with the universe. You can feel what's happening around you at 1 million times a second. The minute that you judge and you label, it slows it down to 10 times a second. It unleashes what is intelligence in you without being hindered by the intellect. All right. So next week, we're going to start to talk about what I call the foundation of enlightenment. All the things that we need to do to learn how to use our intelligence and not be hindered by intellect. We do that next week. Now, hopefully between now and then, I will be able to post what I call the roadmap. And you will find that there are things that we do to purify our mind, to promote the virtualness in us, both by ourselves and with others. And then it comes down to what is called the 37 factors of enlightenment, which contain all the technical stuff. And we already started to do that. One is called the foundation of mindfulness, right? And so forth and so on. We'll do that. We'll do that next week. We're starting next week. I think we have enough motivation now to understand why we want to learn to promote our in the rest of the intelligence system. And wisdom, even though we use the word wisdom, we talk about the Shambhala warriors with the wisdom on one hand and compassion on the other, because you need the balance, you need the harmony between the two for your spiritual practice. Even though we use the word wisdom, in our perspective, wisdom is Prajñā. It's just that we don't have a close enough word for it. And Prajñā is the ultimate wisdom. It's the wisdom that you can actually let go of all your your hindrance, and really understand the purity of your mind. Okay? All right. We'll continue next week, huh? Continue next week. Okay. Thank you so much for joining us, for supporting us. Okay. We will continue. Okay. 星期一見. Okay. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.
Okay. Bye bye.